The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Welcome, everyone. Very excited to have everybody here. Welcome to the webinar. We're going to be starting soon. Really excited. Going to give people a minute or so to get logged in. Really excited to be here with my good friends, integration partner, a client, and just good folk here that I'll be introducing here coming up. While we wait, looks like we have a number of people logging on. Just a few shout outs from the RSVP list. I'm sure most of these people are in attendance. Green Solar Technologies, Benepath Incorporated, Safe Streets, Ace Solar, Swell Energy, my good friends at Swell Energy.
I remember
American
Swell.
Swell, American Design and Build, Rev Offers, Consulting Solar. Shout out to SMS Energy, Inspire Clean Energy, and shout out to SunPower, client of ours. Everyone knows SunPower, so really excited that all these brands are taking time to jump on here. Do we feel ready to get started, team?
I think so. Looks good to me.
All right. So today's topic, as your moderator, I just want to start off by thanking everyone for taking the next 30 minutes out of your busy schedule, including our panelists, to chat about the ultimate lead gen stack and how to accelerate home services growth for your brand and team. I know everyone is very busy, so we really appreciate you taking the time to listen and to learn from our past experiences. With over 30 years combined between myself and our two panelists here, I'll start off and let you know I'm the Director of Home Services here, Director of Home Services and Clean Tech for Active Prospect. Active Prospect, or as we call it here, AP, is a software as a solution service. We're based out of Austin, Texas. We are focused, hyper-focused on consent-based marketing for lead acquisition. And with that, I'll pass the mic to my friend, client, and thought partner, Precious.
Hi, my name is Precious Perez, and I work with AllSeason Solar. We are a rooftop solar contractor based in Galloway, New Jersey. I've been in this space for about 6 years, and my job is lead acquisition, focusing on optimizing lead flow and also implementing any new technologies or processes to help the business grow.
Excellent.
And
I'm Jamie Lumbach, CEO founder of Get the Referral. We're based out of San Diego, California, and serve hundreds of contractors across the nation. My background, I used to own a solar company, so I understand the struggles you have every day. So I'm excited about being part of that today. Sorry about that.
Well, I appreciate both Precious and Jamie. See, Jamie has a client calling right there who probably has a problem. So Precious and Jamie, I really appreciate both of you guys jumping on here. We're going to jump into, before we get started, we're going to jump into a poll question. And the poll question is, are you currently using a referral platform or lead management platform tool? Yes or no? So once again, are you currently using a referral platform? How do you get your referrals, for your company, for your brand? And what do you do with your leads? Are you, like most, sending it directly into your CRM and don't have a lead management tool? Or are you using some type of platform, HubSpot, or something in between where you're getting your leads, generating them, and before you send them to your database? While we wait, a little bit of housekeeping. While we wait for the results of the poll question, a little bit of housekeeping. We'll be sending a live recording via thank you email that will be going out tomorrow morning, Friday. We encourage participation with live Q&A. We are monitoring it throughout the presentation. So if you have questions or if something comes up, ping us, let us know, and we can answer it while we're here. And last but not least, there will be a post-webinar survey after we end the webinar. Please take a moment to fill it out. Let us know your thoughts, your comments, your feedback. Did we rock? Did it suck? Did you feel it was a waste of time, or did you feel it was extremely valuable and are going to implement some of the things that we're going to talk about? So results. Wow, looks like 68% are either using a referral platform or lead management tool, and 32% of the people polled said that they are not. So hopefully, so for the 68, congrats. Maybe there'll be some additional knowledge that we can share, and for those who don't, we'll go into what both of these things are here on this presentation. So today's topics. What are we talking about? What we're going to do is we're going to identify issues facing home service brands who generate and purchase third-party leads, which should really be everybody, as well as generating and tracking reward referrals. We're also going to get into how to utilize software so you can reduce your costs, improve efficiencies. And then third, we're going to do a before and after. Precious and AllSeason Solar is going to talk about how she improved lead generation cost, how she was able to get referral streams, and what software is Precious and AllSeason using in conjunction with Active Prospect and the GTR platform. And then last but not least, solutions forward. What are the various technologies being used to build the ultimate technology stack? So those are our topics, a lot of things going on. Let's start off with the challenges. So let's jump into it. Which ones, which all of these are all ones I personally experienced and now I'm helping solve here at AP. Let's spend a moment to discuss these. I'll start off with Precious, followed by Jamie. And I'll just start it off by posing a question. Why do you two feel these problems are so relevant and consistent with so many brands? What are your thoughts?
So obviously anybody that's been in the lead generation space knows that you're going to run into issues from TCPA compliance to qualifying the lead to just making sure that you've got a process in place to market it so that you are getting that appointment or whatever it is that you're trying to get out of it. I found that utilizing software gives us the ability to automate many of the tasks that we were forced to do manually in the past. In most cases, it's way more efficient as well. This not only puts time back on our clocks, but it allows us to refocus that energy on generating revenue and business for the company that we work for or work with. Obviously, some of the issues that I've faced, and I think everybody has faced, is duplicate lead submissions. You get it from one vendor, and then a couple minutes later, maybe a day later, you're getting it from someone else.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's an issue. Trying to chase down that chain of who sold it first, so I can just stay with that one person.
Yeah. And usually it's done after the fact, right? After you've already bought them, they're in your CRM. And I've seen a lot of brands who actually have someone on staff who's dedicated to just finding duplicates in their CRM and like merging them and then trying to figure out how to get them out. Definitely a massive problem there. Jamie, talk to us about the tracking and reward referrals. I know it's somewhat similar. I know, and I'll just say I myself, as a marketing director, spent probably a good hour in the morning doing a report to try to get information, pivot tables to send it, both for lead gen and referrals. But tell us about some of the problems that you come across with the brands who come to your team.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, as I mentioned, I own my own solar company, so I love referrals, right? Who doesn't love referrals? They're going to close at a much higher rate, but there's a lot of issues that come up with it, right? Whether the sales reps are asking for them, did they actually tell us that this customer was referred? How do you track it? Google Docs, and how do you pay them? Sending out, gift cards, and you get the call, oh, the dog ate the check, and those types of things. So it's being able to put that all together and say, okay, am I missing something here, by not having technology in place? And I always use the statement is, you don't know what you don't know. Right? You don't know what you're missing until you actually take a look deep into it, because there are so many opportunities out there that get left off into the atmosphere somewhere. So being able to track and really manage your referral, your network of customers, and to stay in touch with them, right? How do you stay in touch? How do you stay top of mind? That's one of the most important things about marketing, is staying top of mind, but also with your customers. It's not just when you do the installation. It's well beyond that, right? How do you connect with those customers later on? And so that's where technology can help out with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'll speak from my own personal experience, working for a large national installer, being in charge of both third-party leads and referrals. It's impossible to scale if you're doing it manually or with Google or with Excel. Like, you can try to do it, but once you start to get into the hundreds and thousands of leads and referrals, it becomes impossible.
Yeah.
And so that was one of the reasons I, at the time back in 2014, sought out Active Prospect as a client. And for those who are listening, before I came here to Active Prospect, I was actually a client of our software and had used it at a solar company and implemented it for our third-party lead purchasing and lead management tool, and as well as GTR and their referral platform. So this is really cool to be able to, be on this webinar, talk about it. And for Precious, who is a client of Active Prospect and a fellow third-party lead purchasing guru, I'm just really excited to have you both here. So, these challenges are something that every panelist or every attendee, is probably going through or has gone through. We're going to talk about, the before and after. So let's move on. Before and after. So this is really exciting. AllSeason Solar. How did AllSeason Solar improve lead generation costs and referral streams? And, I'll let Precious take it away. But I know if you're a marketing director, more than likely you're compensated, right, off of your units and how you drive revenue for your business. And the way that you go about that, ultimately it's all the same, right? You want to scale at a lower cost, right? Cost of acquisition. So Precious, tell us about AllSeason.
Yeah, so like many of you guys, I'm sure everybody, we had a lot of issues dealing with third-party vendors, and the duplicates were an issue, non-working numbers or bad contact information when you're trying to run an email campaign or a phone campaign. And of course you've got fraud, and then the TCPA compliance behalf, because you just don't want to end up in court over something that can get longer and drawn out, or it's just people looking for a quick payout. So for us, those were just major issues that we were having in the third-party lead space. As far as like the referrals went, it was the same thing. Just like James was saying, just like Ruben was saying, it's a matter of keeping track of where did this referral come from? Who submitted it? How much did we offer to pay them for the bonus? Are we running any special promotions? How am I going to pay this customer? Oh, they don't want a gift card. They want a check. And there's all these different variables that you're trying to keep in place, and it's just a mess. There's no streamlined effort. The Excel spreadsheets are old. Maybe your CRM isn't updated enough to handle the linking capabilities of referral partners. So we were just really struggling doing a lot of manual, hands-on, day-to-day tedious logging to try to get these issues managed.
And nobody wants to go to work and then spend time doing data entry all day, right? Like, the focus should be on the core challenges of getting appointments, getting sales. But if you're stuck in the minutia of data inputting or correcting, you're wasting a lot of time. And I can personally attest to that. So that makes sense. You're talking about both tracking both, third-party leads and referrals. Anything before we go into your after?
No, most people are probably like, these two things are so far apart, but they're not, because at the end of the day, they're leads you're generating for your business, and you need to be as efficient and optimized as possible when tracking that information and making sure that you're doing the best that you can with what you have.
And in terms of cost per lead, I know you guys are out there in the New Jersey, great state of New Jersey. What is a cost per lead go for in that state?
That you've got your variables, you've got different lead providers, you've got multi-cells, you've got exclusive, you have energy brackets on how much the power bill is, or if they've been pre-qualified. So you're looking at anywhere from, say, $30, $35 to, $150, $200, and it really just varies based on the caliber of what you're getting.
And then in terms of referral, right?
How much does the referral cost you?
Well, hopefully not too much. But that's also, though, your referral program, right? We offer a consistent $500 referral program to anybody, but we do run promotions where we'll bump it up to 1,000, or I'll give you 500 and I'll donate 500 to the charity of your choice. And you're also trying to keep track of, what did I just offer this person?
Yeah, any in terms of any shout outs to any, lead generation companies that you use or have used really well? Any notable names to share?
I mean, I don't want to give everybody the sauce, but I definitely.
Oh, they'll give them the sauce.
But Solar Reviews is a great platform.
Yeah.
They're just great guys over there. I love working with them. Jamie's always on point, another Jamie. And Clean Energy Experts, they've been around a really long time. I know a lot of people have this misconception that they strictly do lead gen for Sunrun, but that's not the case. There's good quality product there, and there's a lot of different people I've worked with, over the last 5 or 6 years that I could give a shout out to. But you just do your research.
Those are two great brands. Yeah, two great brands there, definitely. Well, let's move on to, so that's a before, obviously the issues with third-party leads, generating and tracking and reward referrals. Let's talk about the after. Tell us about what did you do to help solve some of these issues, and how did that transpire?
Oh yeah, so even though you've identified the issue, I really didn't have a solution for the problem until Active Prospect and until Get the Referral, because there just wasn't a software that was going to integrate and do what I needed it to do to prevent duplicate lead suppression. Now, through AP, I'm able to say, listen, if I've got this lead in a certain time frame with these identifying markers, I don't want it from anybody else. I'm just sending it back. I'm not paying for it. I'm not wasting my time looking for a credit or trying to find the reaggregator. It's like my own little personal lead firewall. So everything bad stays on that side, and I let through the traffic that I need. Same thing with the bad phone numbers or like non-working email. They're going to stay on that side of the firewall. I don't need to concern myself with them or track them down or hunt down the party that sold them to me because they were bad. It's just like, hey, listen, this is your rejection rate and this is why it is what it is. Maybe you need to tighten up your contact gathering abilities or whatever the conversation may be. And of course, the compliance capture. One of my favorite parts of Active Prospect is trusted form, because it makes everything very transparent. What did the person fill out? How did they look for the information? Does it match up to what they filled out on the form? IP address, device type, and you can micromanage that data if you have somebody to do it for you. Maybe you notice like Apple users engage at a much higher rate than Android users. You can actively market those faster than you market the others. And that's, just different ways that you can utilize the information that comes to you.
And that's why I love having you here, Precious, because you're in the weeds currently on a day-to-day basis. You were managing leads right before you jumped on this webinar. As soon as this webinar is done, you're going to go right back to your job. These are things that are consistent and are something that everybody faces. One of the questions, and I think we addressed a portion of the question that somebody from the audience just had, was what are the top 5 to 10 lead generation companies most of us should be working with, and how could they be affordably managed in one place? And I think what Precious is actually saying is actually the answer to that. Well, one, we talked about a few of the brands, and you can always go to the Active Prospect website. We have certified vendors, both for solar, mortgages, insurance, you name it, listed there. But continue on about some of the things that you're doing there at AllSeason to manage affordably.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we were able to utilize the software available to us. In this case, Active Prospect, Trusted Form, Lead Conduit, the suppression list. And you can really, if you have someone paying attention to the data, you can really identify what's converting and what's not. What do you want to stop from coming through, and what do you want to let through? Right. And if you can go ahead and utilize those, we were able to reduce our overall cost per acquisition just with Active Prospect in 90 days by $500. So my average cost per job decreased $500 in 3 months by just setting up simple filtration systems through the suppression list, through Lead Conduit, and just putting a couple different enhancements in there to say, like, listen, I need this to be qualified, I need a trusted form cert, I need to make sure that this lead was generated in the last 24 to 42 hours. And there are all these different enhancements that you can use so that you can make sure you are getting the most for what you're paying for.
Yeah, and I think a big piece of, if you're a lead purchaser, if you're on this webinar and you are in charge of buying leads for your company or generating leads via Google or social, you're basically, you're writing checks, right? You're spending money. And in home services or solar specifically, the cost per lead is very, very high, right? So $50 times 100, you can very easily get into the $5, $50, $100,000 range. And so for those on the call, some previous experience at my former role as a buyer, I was spending anywhere between $250,000 to $500,000 a month, buying anywhere from 10,000 leads all the way to 20,000 leads. So just imagine for those who are on the call if you're buying 100 leads, that's still a lot of money. So with that responsibility comes, the goal of trying to streamline your process, not being in the weeds, and all these things that Precious is mentioning. Not just with our technology, great. I don't want to make this an active prospect commercial, but there's also other lead management tools and other softwares out there that we're going to talk about that help you manage this and really help you focus in, because lead purchasing is strategic. If you're just buying leads, putting them in your CRM and your dialer, you're not doing it. You guys want to talk about tracking the referral rewards portion?
Yeah, that's part two, right? So I have this other animal that I've got to deal with, and that is our referral program. And not just our referral program, but we've got guys in the field, like I'm sure a lot of you do. Some people are using canvassers, door knockers, self-generators, and you need to be able to track what they bring in. Maybe they're getting paid by appointment, maybe they're getting paid by, job. But regardless, you've got this software that'll allow you to put all their information in, all the leads that they've generated, whether as a self-generator or referral partner, and it's immediately linked. Where it came from, who said it, when they said it, the exact promotion that was offered to them. There's a variety of different products that you can set up to make sure that the homeowner is getting whatever it is that they need, not just in the solar space, but in
I don't mean to interrupt, but can I ask, how many people do you have in terms of when you add your salespeople and your field marketers and your canvassers, just to kind of give the audience an idea of how big of a staff you're actually supporting?
Right now we're probably about 250 in the office, and then we do have our 1099 guys, your outside guys that aren't necessarily salaried or on your team full time. So with that, we could probably go to 300.
And Jamie, can I ask you, how does that compare to, or in general, not so much compare, but when clients come to you, what type of staff are they coming to you to try to manage their referrals? Is it in that same size, or is it less? Is it more?
Yeah, it's funny. We have ranges from, folks with, 3 salespeople to 500 salespeople. Yeah, it really varies quite often, and that's the nice thing about it, whether you're a small company or a big company, being able to manage that at any level. And as you scale, right, most companies are going to want to grow and scale, and, putting in the technology now versus waiting to do it later and integrating it after makes it so much easier. And then as you scale, it scales with you, and that's the most important piece of it. Is so the sooner the better. We talk to new companies that come on, they're just getting started and well, maybe I'll wait a few months. I'm like, no, the most important time is get it in place right now. Maybe start off small, but you'll be able to start scaling and get the process down. And that comes from that's for both sides, right? Not just referrals, but all leads. Have a process in place early.
Yeah, let's talk about the solutions forward. And I appreciate, Precious, you going into detail about that, and Jamie kind of talking about the different clients and the sizes that come your way. Solutions forward, right? What are the various technologies being used to build the ultimate technology stack, right? So obviously, active prospect, right? We're here, I'm here, we're here, evangelizing to people about lead management. And we'll kind of go into, get the referral, but I think 2 big things that people need to have, right? You need to have a CRM. And if you're dialing and you're going to scale, you need to have some type of dialing or texting software. I mean, those are the 2 foundation building blocks. And then from there, obviously, active prospect, get the referral. But Precious, talk to us about your tech stack, right? What are you using? Now, obviously, you're a client of ours, you're a client of GTR, but what else are you using within, your ecosystem?
Yeah, so obviously Active Prospect, the whole suite is probably my front runner as far as for my position and what I do, right? My job is to make sure that my company gets the best leads and that we market them and we get jobs out of them, period. From that point though, you've got other facets that you need to be aware of. I need to make sure that there is speed to lead. You need to have a drip marketing campaign, whether it's text messaging, email, phone drops, like whatever the case may be, and you need software to do that because I love people. I'm a people person, but at the end of the day, people don't always work as fast as you want them to work. So if you can automate that process and you can have the work done by the software, then it makes their job that much easier. They can just focus on being a great on the phone or, great at their sales or whatever the case may be. CRM, that's going to be your bread and butter also. If you can't track, update, store, in some cases, they've even got like built-in design software like Aurora. Not everybody here is in the solar space, but if you are,
Yeah.
it's a great design tool, proposal tool, CRM tool that you might be able to use.
Yeah, absolutely. I got to give a shout out to Hatch. Hatch is an integration partner we have in our marketplace. We did a webinar with them a few months ago. A lot of brands that use us are also using them. I'll throw a big one out there that I love. My good friend Mike Gallagher and the team over at Hover. I don't know if you're familiar with Hover, but they're a big 3D modeling technology where the consumer can take a photo of the home from the different sides and then have a 3D model rendering where if you're doing windows or siding or roofing, I don't think solar, but a lot of the other exteriors, and it just really brings the whole home service and contracting design presentation to like another level. So that's a big shout out there. I'll give a shout out to a couple of dialers. Oh, was that Jamie?
No, I have one as well because it's all about giving your customers a great experience, right? So obviously your project management tools. What are you doing to work as the project gets installed? What are you doing to let the customer know in real time what's going on? So having good communication tools with regards to that. We integrate with any project management tool that allows you to send that information directly from your project management CRM to the customer as well. But when you're able to have a better experience, that's really what you're trying to accomplish. And so there's another one out there, Company Cam. That's another way to get customers, letting them know what's happening with the project that's being installed through pictures. And we actually integrate with them where the project is getting installed in real time. The customers getting pictures while they're at work, seeing the project be installed in real time. So there's so many different things that you can interconnect, but the key is make sure that you can integrate with whatever CRM and tools that you're using, because you don't want to have separate systems. You want easy integrations that update in one place and it updates everywhere else.
Yeah, and I like that piece that you just said, which is make sure they integrate, right? Because so many companies, they'll go like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get like a CRM, and then like a year later, I'm gonna get this. Write it down. Get your tech stack, and this is why we're having this webinar, right? What are the techs that you want, right? Okay, I want my referral platform, need my lead management tool. What's CRM? Make sure everything talks.
Yeah.
If everything doesn't talk, it's gonna be very clunky. So you want everything to talk. You want the data, the consumer, right? The data, the customer, to be able to come into your ecosystem, go around, make it to your ops, make it to your funding or whatever it is that you call, money in the bank. But everything needs to talk and communicate. So I really encourage 2 shout outs for the dialers. Shout out to Convoso. We have a lot of big solar clients that use them. Shout out to Call Tools, which I think Precious, your team uses, as well as a number of others. There's tons of different technologies that are out there. Any other ones to add, Precious, that you're fond of?
Well, I just want to reiterate what Jimmy said, because make sure that your stuff talks ahead of time. Don't think that the CRM is $50 cheaper a month or whatever the case may be, and then you don't realize it's because it won't integrate well, or because they're going to make you pay for every single integration they have to build out for you. So you really do want to make sure that all of your stuff is interchangeable and interconnectable, because otherwise you're going to spend a lot of your time figuring out how to make them talk. And it's not going to be seamless. It's going to be buggy. You're going to be bouncing to like a Zapier or a this or a that to try to make everything function. And it's better to make sure that you're getting the best of what you're buying versus trying to save a couple of dollars and then.
Absolutely, keep on going, but let's go to the next slide in terms of conclusions and best practices. I know we kind of running out of time here, but while we talk about that, continue on, Jamie. I know you were going to say something, you're going to add something in there.
No, just, that's so important. I agree, because you don't want to get down the road and have to redo something. And there's nothing more miserable than having to go back and redo it because you didn't do your homework on the front end. And the nice thing is, I know with my company and Active Prospect and others out there, we like doing live demos, going through every little bit of what the technology does. But those are great questions to ask. How do I integrate? What's the process? Is there additional charges? And sometimes there are, depending on the situation and such. So just so important to be able to integrate. So.
Yeah, and we actually have a question. Oh, go ahead, Precious. I'm sorry.
I just want to say I didn't get a chance to go over one of the things that I love most about the Get the Referral product for me is I didn't even know I had these problems. Okay, so this is like for the solution to come and me be like, this is just great. I was so happy with it. It's got in-app messaging. So you can have your entire department heads, everybody can be in this app. So if there's an issue, your customers are messaging you from in the app. There's a service issue, they can message service. It's not a problem. They can see what their system is producing right there in it. They can have a copy of their contracts stored in the documents. It's not just generating referrals or tracking referrals. It is so much more robust. It's like a tiny little branded one point of contact app for your business. So if you haven't used it or you haven't looked at it, definitely take the time because it does so much more than just let you track a referral. Like there's so much more to it.
Thank you, Precious.
Okay.
Question from the audience. I am a general contractor using Home Advisor, Facebook, Yelp, and Google. Can I use Active Prospect to manage all customer leads from all these sites? The answer is emphatically yes. That's a big piece of what we do, right? With all the technology and features we have, one of the key things that we do, which is fairly simplistic, is we get all of your leads from all of your sources into your CRM or your dialer. We do a lot of things in between, but really the essence of what we're doing is taking that customer data, being able to get it into any one of your systems that you have. Another question was, does Active Prospect integrate, sync, or talk to Home Advisor? I wouldn't use the words sync or talk, but certainly integrate. We have a number of, I think we have over 100 plus home service brands, everywhere from roofing companies to window companies to lots of solar companies, about 30 solar companies. And yes, a lot of them do buy leads from Home Advisor, and we are able to get those leads from Home Advisor into your CRM or into your dialer. In talking about conclusions and best practices, right? I think a real big piece is, like you said, the streamlining of the process, using the various tools. You only have so much time in the day. I want to go to work and be happy, and I'm sure everybody else on this call wants to go to work and be happy, but you can't really be happy if you're showing up doing the same thing over and over and over. So when you're able to implement technology, have the right tech stack, you can streamline processes. And then kind of leading to this third, and maybe we can discuss this, guys, is the efficiency focused software, right? Ensuring that you're integrating, and we kind of talked about how everything has to talk, but just the time factor, right? Work smart, not hard. Anything to add, Jamie, Precious, on the conclusions and best practices in terms of the technology?
Have a goal in mind. When you bring on a new software, you need to have a game plan, right? You can see what it can do for you, you know what it's going to cost you, but you need to identify what you expect from it and how quickly you expect it from it. Right. So that's where you've got a marker. Okay, I've implemented the software. When I got with Ruben, I'm like, listen, I just need you to do this. If you can save me, I think it was like I had like a 15% non-homeowner rate that was making me crazy. I said, if you can promise me that you can filter these out, I will go with you because your software paid for itself. And that's what happened. The same thing has happened with other softwares that we're using. I'm like, listen, I need my close percentage, just 1%. If I can close 1% more jobs, this software not only paid for itself, but generated revenue for my company. You have to look at the big picture sometimes and make sure that you have realistic, achievable goals and then act on them.
Yeah, and a little backstory, I've worked here at Active Prospect for about 2.5 years. Precious was, I think, maybe my third or fourth sale, and she is a great negotiator. And just like she said, she's like, hey, this is where I'm at. This is what your cost is. In order for me to pay for your software, this is what I need to do. And I encourage everybody who's on this call to have those types of KPIs and those goals, because anytime that you implement technology, you got to pay for it, right? So you're either getting efficiency, you're getting a higher conversion rate, maybe a higher appointment set, with Jamie. And Jamie, why don't you talk about that? Like, when you're talking to clients or your team's talking to clients, what are they saying in terms of like the ROI for referrals, or how does that conversation go?
Yeah, so what we find typically with when you're going to go out and buy leads and such, you're going to see anywhere between 15-20% close ratio, and people are going to be pretty happy, right, with that ROI. What happens is though, when you start really impressing your customers and starting from the point of sale and beyond and providing them with unbelievable experience, what happens is they share that information, obviously, the referral part of it. And those referrals are going to close at a much higher rate. So what I always say is, if I'm a salesperson, I'm going out to see, I have a choice between a referral and a bought lead. We want to go after the referrals because of the close ratio component of it. And then the nice thing about it, even if you are buying leads, that one lead, say if you buy 100 leads and you sell 20 of them, those 20 sold deals can turn into another 30, 40, 50 deals because of the referral side of it. So don't think about buying one lead or 10 leads and getting one sale. Think about that one sale can turn into 3 or 4 or 5 additional sales because of the referral opportunity once you really impress that customer with your technology in the process that they did throughout the installation.
Absolutely, absolutely. In terms of the number one thing that we're talking about right here, right, is work hard. I mean, work smart, not hard. And that's, key to being able to scale your division, your lead purchasing division. Let's go into GTR. I want to make sure both of you guys have a little bit of time here, and then I'll talk about Active Prospect. Tell us about GTR, Jamie.
Yeah, and Precious did a great job kind of telling what we do, but we're not just a referral platform. We are a complete engagement and communication opportunity for you to communicate with your customers. We obviously, allow you to collect referrals, but also, as we said, we have the project management so they can track the job in real time as it goes through the different stages. Document storage, text messaging, you're going to get your own branded custom app in the App Store under your name. You're going to be able to capture some real estate on your customer's phone, right? It's really important. We have a review portal, so you can actually send a message to your customer to write a review. It's all in one place. The social share. This is really cool because each individual customer has their own unique URL that they can share on Facebook or wherever, Twitter, and then if someone fills the form out, that customer gets credit for that referral, and they may not even talk to someone. So it really exponentially increases opportunities by using your customer's social media. And obviously the payment interface, which is a great way to be able to reward your customers for referrals right within the application. Great thing about that, and people always say, well, I have to 1099 them after $600. Well, with our payment platform, because it's paid electronically, you don't have to do that. The amount goes up to $20,000 in 200 instances before you have to get a W-9 and 1099 them. So there's a lot of efficiencies when using technology, and we wanted to be the all-in-one customer portal. Like Precious said, it's like your own customer portal that's branded for you, and that top-of-mind awareness that they get every single time that they get paid or they get a push notification or they submit a referral. You're getting that because it's your brand, your logos, your colors.
Jamie, I appreciate that. I've seen the technology evolve from when I initially spoke to you back in 2014 to where you're at. Just amazing to see your team grow and get investment and continue to scale. So congrats. Well, I'll tell you a little bit about Active Prospect. Obviously, we're a software solution. Really appreciate Precious coming on. Obviously, a client. Jamie and Get the Referral. They're an integration partner, so you can get leads from GTR into Active Prospect Lead Conduit. In the essence, right, what we're doing is we're capturing leads from any source, including web forms, any social media sites, third-party lead vendors, or if you're buying a bunch of data and you just want to import it, we help you get that data into your CRM. You can do all types of third-party enhancements. We have a marketplace on our website where you can grab credit from Experian. You can get title from CoreLogic. You can validate phone numbers to make sure they work. You can get demographic data, you know, people's age, their income. We have a integration with the National Renewable Energy Lab, where based off the zip, you can get the utility. So a lot of different functionalities. We're an open API platform. We connect with the best, and we are always building out. We have about, I think, over 40, 50 developers on our team actively working on the technology, improving it. We have thousands of customers, and those thousands of customers are always asking for new features and new things. And so we're consistently building and evolving the product. You know, one thing that we do very well is we help you filter and we help you reject leads that don't meet your criteria. So think of our tech almost as like a digital underwriter in real time. And then once again, we can distribute those leads directly to your CRM or your auto dialer. And I'll let you kind of talk a little bit about AllSeason as we close out here, Precious.
Thank you. So AllSeason Solar, like I said, is based out of New Jersey. That is our home state. We are licensed in Illinois, Delaware, Maryland, Florida, and I think I'm missing one somewhere. We were one of the top 5 roofing solar contractors in New Jersey for 2020 via Solar Power World. Yep, we were one of the top 100 in the United States last year via Solar Power World for rooftop contracting. You know, we've been in business for over 20 years. We were an electrical contractor before we went into solar. So for us, this is our bread and butter. You know, voted Best of the Press 4 years in a row, voted Suburban Family Magazine Editor's Pick for 2020 in New Jersey. We've done over 40,000 kilowatts since 2015. You know, we don't have any subcontractors. We've got our electrical license, our HIC license, everything's done in-house, and we try to keep our local economy, you know, booming. We're just constantly feeding back to our local businesses or supporting our local donations and all these different shelters. And, you know, we love what we do, and I think it shows.
Yeah, it definitely shows. You're obviously passionate, Precious, and I just really appreciate both yourself and Jamie. You know, let's put the contact us page for anybody who wants to reach out to either myself, Precious, Jamie. Here's our contact information. I will let everybody know that please fill out. We're gonna have a post-event survey that will be prompted after this webinar. Please give us feedback. Let us know how we did. You know, was there certain subjects that you wanted to hear more of? Was there something that maybe we left out? If you have any questions, you can always reach us here on these emails. And we're also going to be sending out a live recording. It's going to get emailed to you so that you can share this presentation with your team or others on your marketing staff. Looks like we've answered a lot of the questions that people had, so we won't get into that. But Jamie, Precious, thank you guys so much for joining, and I really appreciate the time and contribution. And for all those who attended, thank you. I know we went a little bit over, but hopefully you got some gems and you can take this back into your office and make some more money at a lower cost. So appreciate everybody. Thank you.
Take care, Ruben. Bye, Precious.
Bye.
See you guys. Bye, Precious.